Hello from the campervan. Tonight I am going to be staying in a cave for the first ever time. It's about to get dark already. I need to get going to the cave. Let's go. Here's the bag, ready to go, all packed up. I can do this. Am I a lunatic? Possibly the answer is yes, but we'll find out. Here is the campervan all parked up, and behind me in the distance is the island of Ayrshire. I visited there a few months ago, so if you're interested to see that video, I will link it below. The path to the cave is from this lay-by, and it looks like you go down and then you can walk around 10 minutes to the cave. So let's go and see if we can find it. Over here, it looks like there might be a small path going down there. I'm not sure if that's the way. Let's go and check it out. This is what the path looks like here. I think I might have left it a bit late, to be honest, in the day. It's 9:30 and I underestimated the time it would take to drive here. Okay. Wow. Oh, I'm on the top of a cliff here. Oh my gosh. It looks like there might be a path down there, so maybe I need to go over this side a bit more. Just a couple of minutes walk from the lay-by, I have now reached the front of this beautiful bay here, and I believe the cave is down there. Oh my goodness, I'm starting to get a bit nervous actually. When I stayed in a bothy a few months ago for the first ever time, I had quite an unnerving experience staying in that bothy. There were a lot of strange noises overnight, and on that video I read many comments asking, why did I not bring a gun with me? So in Scotland you can't just carry a gun. I know in other countries maybe the rules are different about guns, but in Scotland people don't just carry guns with them. I think only people who have licenses, for example farmers, they might have guns. So if you come to Scotland, don't pack your gun. Okay, I've almost made it down to the bay here. I think the cave might be on this side. It's starting to get quite dark. Oh gosh, I hope I don't attract any ticks. Okay, I've made it down to the beach. I think the cave is behind me here. I've never been here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave my bag and then I'm going to go over there and see if I can see the entrance to the cave, and then if it's over there I will come back and pick up my bag and head in there. Okay, so I went round the corner and I can see the entrance to the cave. I believe it is accessed depending on the tide, so the tide tonight is to 11 p.m. It's not the full tide yet, so I can still get round and access it. On days where there's a high tide, you probably cannot get in. It looks really spooky. I've just come round the corner of the rock and there is the entrance to the cave up behind me there. It's getting darker and darker. Wonder if anyone will be inside. I don't think so. Oh, there's the entrance. I need to clamber over this and get into the cave. I think I've made it to the entrance of the cave now. Let's go inside and see my home for the night. Just as I was about to turn the camera, a bird flew out of the cave. I got such a fright. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's okay, it's just a bird. Here's the entrance to the cave. Let's go in together. Hello? Hello? Okay, there doesn't seem to be anyone in here. Okay, so behind me you can see the entrance to the cave, and it's quite spacious. Inside I do have a small lantern in my bag that I'm going to get out, and it'll help me see what's inside the cave a bit better. Oh, my heart is still beating from seeing that bird. And well, there's a bird up there flapping its wings. This little light here, I have this, put it on the brightest setting so that it's easy to see. Wow, it's quite good, quite bright. Oh, I'm so sweaty. Right, let's have a look around the cave now. Wow, it's really quite big. Oh. Let's explore the cave a bit more. There's a lot of graffiti on the walls. Up at the back, it looks like there are 2 crevices. So one looks like it becomes really small and the other looks like it goes on like a tunnel. And I read online that there's actually a huge cave network, and I think they might be blocked off now. Oh, there's birds' eggs on the floor here as well, and loads of bird poo. So I really hope that no bird poos on me. Okay. Let's do this. One of the crevices at the back here. Oh, it does look like it goes further. Don't really want to know what's down there, to be honest. And then up here is the tunnel. Oh gosh. Oh, that goes on really far. Okay. Oh, this is quite scary. This cave is huge. Okay, this is the end of the cave. It's a little bit scary to walk down here. I'm glad I did, because now I know it's a dead end and nothing will be coming out of here. No people. Well, there might still be birds. Oh. I just came back outside to check if it's dark. The cave doesn't have a huge opening, so there's not much light getting in. So I think even if you came in the daytime, it would also be very dark in there. So if you do come to visit this cave, I'd recommend to bring some torches or a headlamp or something. I actually brought a headlamp, I just remembered, so I'll put that on. Once it gets dark, there's no going back because it's quite rocky, and also the tide will have come in, so I won't be able to get back. I don't know how high the tide is. The tide is not high enough to come into the cave, but it would just block the access to the cave. However, it might not be high enough to even block the access today, so some other people might come, which I'm a little bit worried about, to be honest. Oh, let's go back into the cave, let's go back in. I'm going to set up camp in this area here. It's on the side, and it's quite near the entrance, so if someone comes I can see them and hear them, and it's not in the scary back area. I have a fear that the tunnel might collapse or something, like a mine, and I don't want to go down there. So I'm going to set up my camp here and get my bed ready, and then also cook some dinner. Now that I've explored the cave, I'm feeling a little bit more at ease, because I think I mentioned it in the bothy video. When I first go somewhere new, I sometimes feel a little bit anxious. but now that I've taken a tour and familiarised myself with my surroundings, I'm feeling a bit better. I don't see any more birds in here. First of all, I'm way too hot. Absolutely sweating. It is absolutely boiling. That's better. I've taken off my merino wool winter polo neck, which was extremely hot and sweaty. I expected it to be quite cold in here, but it's really not. Who needs a house when you can live in a cave? Now I'm here, I'm actually quite excited to stay in the cave, to be honest. So before, you might have thought while I was exploring the cave and walking down here, what am I doing? What crazy idea did I have to stay in a cave? But actually, it's something I've always wanted to do, and especially this cave, because the story behind it is so fascinating. Okay, now I might get my camping mat set up. I did bring some bin bags with me to put underneath the camping mat, but I forgot them in the van. The cave that I'll be staying in tonight is said to have been the home of Sawney Bean, a man who led a notorious clan of cannibals in the 16th century. Sawney Bean and his wife were societal outcasts. They settled in this coastal cave and over 25 years raised a large incestuous family of 8 sons, 6 daughters and numerous grandchildren. They survived by ambushing travellers, dragging them to the cave to be murdered, dismembered and eaten. The remains were pickled to ensure a continuous supply. The region was gripped with fear as stories of mysterious disappearances and mutilated corpses spread, leading to the longest missing persons list ever seen. Authorities were baffled until one night when the Beans ambushed a married couple returning from a fair. They killed the wife, but as the husband fought back, a group of people returning from the fair happened upon the scene. The Beans retreated, leaving behind the mutilated body and lots of witnesses. The crime was reported and King James I arrived in Ayrshire with 400 men and tracker dogs. Together with local volunteers, they launched one of the biggest manhunts ever seen. This led to the discovery of the Beans Cave, where they found piles of human bones and severed limbs. The Bean clan was captured and taken to Edinburgh, where they were condemned without trial. The men were mutilated and left to bleed to death, while the women and children were burned alive. While some historians believe the tale of Sawney Bean to be a myth, it's said to have inspired numerous novels, plays, operas, and even the Hollywood movie The Hills Have Eyes. The mat is up. It was a bit of an error to forget the bin bags to put underneath it, but I'm going to check the slope. Oh, if it doesn't puncture, I think it'll be okay. Wow, this cave has really high ceilings. Okay, so this is going to be the bedroom tonight on the floor of the cave, and that's how far away I am from the entrance of the cave, so if anyone comes I'll hear them coming in. I've unpacked everything, put my jacket back on because it's getting a bit late and a bit cold. I think first things first is I need to have a little whiskey. I brought 2 different ones with me today. I have a little bit left of the Springbank from my time in Campbelltown. I went there recently and I really like this one actually. Very nice whiskey, little peachiness to it. And I've also got this Isle of Skye whiskey, 18 years, which I'm looking forward to try. I've never tried this before, but they sent this to me to give it a try, so thank you very much. Let's give it a smell, see if it's, not sure if that's peaty or not. Let's give it a go. Maybe slightly peated. I'm not sure. I think this one might be unpeated or very slightly peated. Both very good. Next, I'm going to make a cup of tea and maybe have a few more sips of whiskey. One of you shared in the comments before, when boiling water, you should always fill the cup and then put it into the pot. So you boil the exact amount. And that is such good advice. Probably it seems really obvious, but I never did that. I just always poured it straight into the pot. So there was usually a little bit left over. So it saves gas and saves water. Oh God, oh my God. Okay, didn't expect that to happen. Wow, why did that happen? Why did that happen? Oh no. I think I really don't like this stove. Sorry to say, but it was really expensive. I bought it because it's very compact and lightweight for hiking. So it does the job, but there's so many things I don't like about this stove, and that was maybe my mistake. But honestly, I used to have a stove that was £15 and it was so much better than this. This thing here is really badly made and it looks like it's broken. I think this might be the final straw for this stove. Oh my gosh, now it's completely come off. Okay, right. Let's hope for the best here. Oh, that's gone. Probably no gas left because it all escaped earlier. Okay, let's put the lid on. I wonder if it's okay to use gas in a cave. Do you think I'll get poisoned? It's ready! As I'm having my cup of tea, I want to tell you about a really fantastic app that I've been using recently. Aura is an all-in-one mental wellness and sleep app. It has the world's largest mental wellness content library, and it could best be described as Spotify for the mind and the soul. I'm generally very happy in my life, but I'm human and I do sometimes have some anxiety and stress. And I've found that Aura has been really helpful and it makes me feel very calm. On the app, there really is something for everyone. The extensive content library has so much variety, including mindfulness, yoga, life coaching, therapy, sleep tracks, bedtime stories, ASMR, hypnosis, and even prayers if you're into spirituality. I always felt that bedtime stories were for children, but I've actually really been enjoying the bedtime stories on Aura. I've been listening to a series of bedtime stories about Ireland, which have been really nice. I'm also a huge fan of ASMR, and I've really been enjoying listening to the tracks on Aura because they make me feel so relaxed. I'm a really huge fan of this app and I think you'll enjoy it too. There is a free trial available for the first 500 people who click the unique link in the video description below, and if you continue on after the 7-day trial, you'll get 25% off your subscription. I'm definitely going to be listening to some of the bedtime stories tonight before I go to sleep here in the cave. So, as expected, there's no phone signal here inside the cave. I'm going to have a little look outside now and see how dark it is out there. There's quite a lot of graffiti inside the cave. I'm interested to know your thoughts about it. I actually think it adds to the character of the cave a little bit, but yeah, oh, it's so hard to see where I'm going. Okay, I left the little lantern on inside the cave, so there's a glow from inside. Actually, inside looks more inviting than outside. Wow, it's so dark down there and the ocean is so loud. So far, things are going okay here at the cave. I don't regret my decision to come here. I really like putting myself out of my comfort zone, and I want to do that more. I wrote a bucket list back in 2015, I think, and I wrote some things on there, for example, swim with sharks and do a skydive, which were two things I did not want to do, but I wrote them on there to push myself out of my comfort zone, and I did both of them. And the feeling inside is quite exhilarating. I enjoy doing these new things because after I feel like I've really accomplished something. It is a bit scary to do something like staying in a cave, but I'm really glad that I'm doing it. The birds are making strange noises. I'm back inside the cave now, sitting on the mat. Home sweet home. Actually, I think today is summer solstice, so the length of the darkness tonight is really short. I made a video about 6 months ago. It was around the 22nd of December, and there is 16 hours of darkness on the longest night of the year. So this is actually the shortest night of the year. So I believe there's probably only around 6 or 7 hours of darkness, and we've already experienced 2 of them. So not long to go. So I might not actually have to sleep that much in the cave. Let's see. So I've always been very fascinated with the story of Sawney Bean, and this is actually my first time here in Sawney Bean's Cave. I've always wanted to come, and I actually am from this area, and the story is really interesting to me, I think, because around a 5-minute drive from here is a village where some of my ancestors are buried in the cemetery. My great-grandmother is buried in the cemetery about 5 minutes from here. So if my ancestors had been attacked by Sawney Bean and eaten, then maybe I wouldn't have made it here. I wouldn't exist. So maybe that's why the story is so fascinating to me. I'm not sure. There also doesn't seem to be any records from that time, so perhaps this is a myth or a legend or something, folklore, but I believe that there are no records from that time, so the story might not actually be true. However, the story seems very, what's the word, elaborate and very specific to not be true, so I think it is true. Can you imagine coming in here and there would be body parts pickled, hanging from the ceiling? Oh, that is so weird. That is really creepy, actually. The thought of that is really creepy. I want to block that out of my mind, to be honest, because I think staying in a cave is difficult and scary enough without thinking about that story. It's time for a sip of whiskey. Now it's dinner time. Even though it's already past midnight, I'm getting quite peckish. So have some of Aldi's finest tomato and burrata ravioli. Let's get this cracked open. It's actually getting quite cold in here, and when I went outside I could really feel the difference in the temperature, so outside is much warmer than in the cave. For my main course I'll be having the ravioli, and for my dessert I'll be having the beans, Sawney beans. When I visited the King's Cave on the Isle of Arran, that's where the King of Scotland, Robert the Bruce, he stayed in the cave there before going to Bannockburn, fighting for Scottish independence. But caves are really interesting places, and when I introduced the King's Cave in the Isle of Arran video, there were many of you who commented about the fact that people still live in caves in different countries. So that's really interesting. In Scotland, there are these very small flies, smaller than mosquitoes, but they bite you, and they're very prevalent between May and September, especially in areas that aren't windy. Now it's June, recently the midges have been out. However, there are no midges here in the cave, which is very good. Okay, ravioli time. Okay, let's try it. Oh no! Ravioli down. Oh, I dropped a ravioli. Oh, whoops. Use this lid as my plate. Check it's cooked. Mmm. Oh, these are really good. I'm enjoying my ravioli. Sawney Bean and his clan would have been eating some arms and legs for their dinner tonight. Oh, this oh no! Oh my goodness, I've lost another ravioli. We had the second ravioli down. I don't know if it's because I'm hungry or it's actually the ravioli. That ravioli is so good. Wow. The ravioli is finished. That was possibly one of the best meals I've ever had in my life. It was really good. I was very hungry. It was almost like I was in Italy, to be honest. Although I've never eaten ravioli in Italy, but yeah, very good. I don't have any room for the beans, and I didn't think to bring a different pot because this one is not possible to cook in the jet boil. I'll keep these in my camper van for another time. I think I drank quite a lot of whiskey now, but cave is really nice actually. I think Sawney Bean, he didn't want to pay rent. That's why he moved into the cave. Okay, I'm going to make one more cup of tea and then I think I'm going to get ready for bed. There is not enough water to make a cup of tea. I want to leave some water for during the night in case I want a drink of water. So I'm going to set up the bed now, the sleeping bag, and yeah, time to sleep. What time is it? Oh, 1:15 a.m. So what I'm going to do is, I think the sunrise is around 4. I will go outside and check what time the sunrise is, but I think I might wake up at like 4:30, 5, just in case someone comes down in the morning to explore the cave. I don't know who would come down so early like at that time, but you never know. Someone might walk their dog or something. So I don't want to be found here in the morning by someone. But yeah, I'm going to set up the bed now. I truly believe that Scotch whisky is the best drink in the world. It's wonderful. Okay, time for bed. Right. If anything happens during the night, I will let you know. I will turn on the camera. I really hope I don't burst this mat because of the rocks underneath. Oh, this is so nice. This is so much better than a house. Just a bit cold, damp, drippy, but apart from that, pretty happy. I see you guys in the morning. Good night. Oh no.
Welcome to Ayrshire.
Good morning. I'll put my shoes back on. Actually, not too bad. I woke up a few times. I was cold. That was the main reason I was waking up. And also it was on a slant, this mat, so when I turned over onto my side, I was falling off the mat, and also the birds were making a noise quite a few times, so that also woke me up. But actually it was okay, and it looks like it's already light outside. It's 4:30. I'll go and have a look outside. It's so bright already, and it's only 4:30. I'm going to pack up all my things and I'm going to head back to the van. Can't believe I made it one night staying in a cave. I managed to complete it. All packed up. Time to say goodbye to the cave. Thanks, cave. Anyway, I think I'll come back here sometime. It's actually really nice. Now I've come down out of the cave. I can see the entrance up there behind me. There's the entrance to the cave. That looks so scary. But anyway, interestingly, the tide is now out and it's very accessible. So I think yesterday I arrived around an hour and a half before the high tide, but it was still possible to get in. But I think if it was a very high tide, the access would be blocked. But the tide is quite far out now. I'm really glad I experienced this night in the cave and that I pushed myself out of my comfort zone. Thank you again to Aura for sponsoring today's video, and I'll see you next time.